Hey everyone, today I have a very different type of LEGO related review for you. This is from a huge supporter over on Patreon who goes by the name of Arno, who actually lent me the following, not set, but product. Not even technically from LEGO, but commissioned by LEGO and related to LEGO. This is Arno's comic book. It's a full-on book, not just your typical narrow little thing. It's got some thickness to it. This was published in 1986 from the Jim Spaceborn series, The Unknown Galaxy. And I'm gonna go through this. I'm not gonna read every single cell from this, but this is something that I did not know even existed. It goes through classic space and some derivatives thereof, a little bit of Blacktron stuff in it. I'm gonna switch around to the other side and show you this, but huge thanks to Arno. I'm also gonna show you a couple other things related to Arno directly later on, but a special thanks to Arno for just letting me know that this exists and then actually lending me the thing itself, the book itself. This is very precious and will be returned to Arno, but first, you all get to take a look inside. All right, so hopefully this will be a pretty decent view for you. And what I'm gonna do is go through all the pages and try to give you a synopsis of what's going on. I'm not gonna read every single cell of it. I'm also not gonna completely flatten these pages because again, this is not mine. It is also from 1986 and I don't want to damage the binding at all. So I'm gonna be a little bit careful with it. Fully painted up, a lot of ink used for these pages here. The whole thing done by Frank Madsen, who drew all of this, I believe, by hand. Just a single individual. So this is the cast of characters. And you see some classic space uniforms and classic town uniform there. But what's interesting to me is that we have different faces and different hairstyles than were available, or at least variations, looking at the hair, they're kind of interpretations of hairstyles that were not available then, and all the different types of faces were not available in 1986. So it's kind of cool that this is kind of looking forward a little bit, and also, just breaking free of the LEGO mold a little bit. Everybody's flexible, it's trying to take you into the universe a little bit more. The cast of characters is important. Jim Spaceborn, he's the main accidental hero of the story, the main character that we're gonna focus on. Bart Seeker is the kind of arrogant captain of this main ship that we're gonna be flying on through much of it. Duncan, he's just an engineer and inventor, and he's working down in the engine room. Viva is the pilot, and then there's also the supercomputer that runs everything on this massive ship, and the supercomputer is called Mags. So as the story goes, so that's the ship. We're going to see more of that later on. But as the story goes, they've been out doing the exploration, the outer space exploration thing, and they're headed back to their home planet of Zonia. And you can hit pause to see the specifics. But again, I'm going to try to cut through and cover the main story points for you. Basically, Jim Spaceborn is on. I believe he was an orphan originally, and he's presently on break. They're about to get back to their home planet after being off doing exciting things for a long time. Jim Spaceborn goes down to the engine room and meets up with Duncan, who's like, hey, you want to check out this new invention that I've come up with? It's called the Transformat. And it's that. Looks like a 1x1 brick, but with an open stud, maybe a precursor to the original camera piece. And he points it at a familiar looking space scooter thing here. And look, it takes it apart. Well, can it put things back together? Yes, Jim, what would you like? He said, I'd like to have a robot. So, okay, let's turn these pieces into a robot. And it doesn't turn the pieces into a robot. Instead, it assembles some of the black parts into a new Transformat. So now he's got another Transformat. Oops, that actually did not work as intended. It disassembles, it does not assemble properly. Meanwhile, as it turns out, the entire crew and the entire ship seems to be off course. And the captain does not believe that it could be his fault. Has to be the fault of someone else who's either not understanding the situation or inputted the incorrect coordinates. They're supposed to be going home. Like, they should be good at getting home, and it's not working out. You're going to check in, do some debugging work on the computer, again called Mags. Let's see. But Captain Seeker, it couldn't be true. Mags never gets anything wrong. Never gets it wrong, excuse me. Oh no? Mags is unique, infallible, the best computer in the whole universe. Then maybe you can explain why we can't make contact with Zonia, their home planet. I can tell you that. Mags? Who else? Ladies and gentlemen, may I suggest you consult me in the future. It's all quite simple. We are moving away from Zonia. What? The order to change course came from Captain Seeker's control panel. Oops, busted. Meanwhile, just normal behind the scenes stuff going on. That's actually a kind of cool little, almost monorail sort of setup, but kind of the opposite of monorail. Actually, looks pretty cool. Very, very simple build, but they're just traveling through the the bowels of the ship and find this huge short that's going on, all this electricity going all over the place. He gets hit by it, but of course he's fine. It's probably 8 billion volts and 120,000 amps of electricity. He just got zapped by it, but that's okay. Just go over to the regular lever piece, black on black, and throw the switch and everything will be fine. He throws the switch and it's the main breaker for the entire ship. So at the same time, elsewhere, at the Mag's main control panel, the captain says, "I don't believe it. An incorrect order came from my control panel? Me? Make a mistake? Impossible. There must be a malfunction. Nonsense, Viva. The lights are on. There's plenty of power." Click. Do we pay the electricity bill? What the? Quick, get a hold of Duncan. Duncan to Bart Seeker. What's up? Come in, Duncan. What in blazes you think you're doing? We switched off the current, Bart. There's a short in the mains. What a sight. You should have seen it. Stop that nonsense and switch the emergency power supply. Can't function without power. We have no idea where we are. Bart, that's the Mags's red warning light flashing. Good to know that it's red. I appreciate that. And so they're headed into a black hole, right? They've turned off the power to the ship. They've only got the most basic, the most basic functions available, and they're being pulled into what looks like a black hole. And of course, they go through it and emerge. Who knows where? This is actually a really nice series of cells here. So the top one is completely blank. You're seeing through a little bit to the next page. But I like this. I like this sequence. Reminds me of some things that I've seen a number of times in sci-fi. That's pretty well done, though. Mags, where are we? The megaforce came from an unknown gravitational field. It was a black hole, and we went smack through it. Okay, so now we need to find out where they are. 15 minutes later. I've drifted so far off course, not even Mags could save us. So now we're on our own. Now we're on our own, where no Zonian has set foot before. Suggest we send an exploratory mission to find out just how black things are. As you can see, there's a lot to this. So they sent out a mission on an existing purchasable Lego set, of course. And it's Jim Spaceborn, who is doing the piloting with the main ship's pilot, second in command on this exploratory mission. They find a planet, and it appears to be inhabited. That looks like a city right there. So they say, let's go down and take a look, see if we can find out a little bit more about our situation. Better check the pressure. Pressure is fine. We don't need spacesuits, so they don't need to put their helmets on so we can see their full facial expressions and everything. It just allows a little bit more humanity to come through in the future cells that are coming up. I'll go in on that landing strip, and it wasn't a landing strip after all. They crash because it's Dagobah, of course, right? It's the Dagobah swamp. I think you're going to see a bunch of things in this that are Star Wars related or Star Wars inspired. So it basically crashes the not X-Wing into the not Dagobah swamp there. And somebody comes along immediately. Nice spaceship you got there. Shall we say $450,000 for the lot? Cash on the nail? What are you talking about? Pathfinder's not for sale. Pathfinder, the name of the small ship. Oh, well, your uniforms then? Bit scruffy, not top quality, but never mind. Shall we say, hey, give it a rest, will you? We don't want to buy or sell anything. Of course you do. No one comes to Commercia unless they want to buy or sell something. But okay, I won't pry into your trade secrets. Heading for town, hop in. Got a little kind of insect-looking thing there, except it's actually Luke's land speeder, but not actually Luke's land speeder. So they head in to the main town, get dropped off. Got a little bit of Q*bert-looking head on this one over here. That was actually a common theme in the 80s of ways that people would draw aliens and monster-like things with a snout like that. A common design choice, stylistic choice. Again, be careful with these pages which don't have any crinkles on them. No crinkles, no folds. That's just amazing. Gosh, this is totally a time capsule here. So what next? We need to find someone who will sell us information because it's commercial. Everything is for purchase or a sale. Like Star Chart, for example. Galaxographic Institute Star Charts for the Universe. Looks like a good place. So Viva goes in. Jim hangs around a little bit. He's checking out the town. Looks a little bit Tatooine-y. Just a little bit Tatooine-y inspired. Goes inside the shop and finds a robot, which is exactly what he's always wanted. Remember, earlier on he asked for a robot to be made out of the parts of that space scooter. How much is the robot? Robot? Exquisite taste you have there, young man. It's a marvel of its kind. Not exactly operative, you might say, but, I mean, you can't speak, but it's got style. You could put flowers in it or something. No doubt about it. It's a snip at, shall we say, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, 500. Done. Let's call it a deal. What if I could, but I haven't got any money. No money. How very odd. What's that you got there? Oh, it's my transformat. There you go. Just do a little bit of bartering. Of course, they do the bartering. They get it done. Jim gets his robot that doesn't even work. Meanwhile, no good star charts were available. Meanwhile, got a couple of Blacktron dudes over here. Are they actually Blacktron or are they just black-colored spacemen? They've got a different kind of, different little insignia, different emblem. But I think they're Blacktron. I'm gonna go with Blacktron. A lot of people looked at Blacktron as actually being good guys, which is perfectly fine. But here, it seems like these guys are being used as bad guys. That's our robot. Looks as though someone's got it first. That won't stop me. Okay. So they've been looking for that robot as well. It is the droid that these opposite of stormtroopers we're looking for. That robot belongs to Kazakh, from Kazakhstan. Certainly doesn't. I've just bought it. So what? It ran away from our leader, so it's ours. No, what, you little resisting us? I'll show you. Help, Viva. And the robot comes to life. The robot, it works. Worked all the time. It was just sleeping. Grapes! Suffering supernovas, run for your life! They can certainly run, what lily-livered cowards. Guess we better make tracks too. Who says it's on our side? Oh, seems like that's the end for our heroes. Hey, look, it's smiling. I think it likes us. I've got an idea. Robot, would you like to take us back to our spaceship? It's in a swamp outside town. And off they go. Okay, well, we're okay after all. Not getting into another problem just yet. Meanwhile, the agents of Kazakh go inside the shop, interrogate the guy that just sold the robot over. That's going to continue on. Robot actually takes the takes Jim and Viva out to the ship, which somehow has not sunk after all. Where's the part where he lifts it up from the not Dagobah swamp? Okay, well, I guess it just floated back to the surface, so that's cool. But, I mean, they did just buy the robot, so it technically is their property. Even if they wanted to set it free, still they should be together. Of course, we want the robot to go with the humans, and so it does. It gets on board, and they're able to fly back to the main ship just fine. Come straight back to the control room when you've docked. We're going to skip back to the planet's surface. The interrogation goes on. And the two Blacktron members, well, let's not call them, the two agents of Kazak, I'll pronounce it to make it stand out, confiscate the transformat to take it back to their leader. So the poor salesman now is left with nothing. He doesn't have what he thought was a broken robot. It was actually a perfectly good robot. And he doesn't have the thing that was bartered for it, the thing that was traded. Wish a red-hot crater would swallow Kazak and his crooks. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Duncan is working on the robot, and he finds the bug, a literal physical bug that was causing a problem that prevented the robot from speaking. So it was able to function just fine except for speech. It was not able to speak. Okay. I'm Keco. I'm on the run from Kazak, the space bandit. Who's Kazak? Don't you ever talk about anyone else in this galaxy? Kazak? Never heard of him. You never heard of Kazak? Well, no, we've just arrived, you see. We're on our way to Zonia. I don't suppose you've heard of it. No, but that makes sense. You don't know, but you've ended up in Kazak's galaxy. He suddenly appeared a few years ago. Now his vicious thugs control most of our planet. Kazak, ooh, look at this fleet. Look at this not Blacktron fleet over here. Kazak shattered our star fleet and blasted our galactic defenses. Now he comes and goes as he pleases. No one knows where he comes from or when he'll strike next. And Kazak's thugs treat the free planets as if they own them. Okay. So it's the story of how Kazak took over the robot planet, Keco's planet. We tried to fight, but we were soon defeated. However, Keco managed to steal a plane, ran out of fuel, tried to land on Commercia, and was soon picked up and sold to the junk shop. Okay, very Star Warsy. Kazak wants me so badly because I can tell the truth. That's why he wants to get that droid back, because it has the plans to the Death Star. Has the truth about Kazak and how Kazak is actually evil. That Kazak uses maximum force, though he says that every planet is free to join him. I've got an idea. Why don't you help me to liberate Robus, the planet Robus, where he came from? Out of the question. Don't you think we should? No point in trying to take on Kazak's fleet. Keco's story convinces me it's even more urgent to get back home. Meanwhile, on Robus, Kazak's two agents reporting back with news of the robot. This is Kazak Actual in his little throne tower thing there. Found the robot and found this as well. Looks like us. It means it was. Oh wait. Okay. The strangers exchanged it for the robot. Exchanged what? It can take things apart and put them together again. And they looked like us. That was back here. They looked like us. That means it was invented by intelligent beings. I must get them. Time for action. Need to get them and the robot. All units go. Meanwhile, the Spearhead, main ship, is leaving orbit, about to take off. But let's see. You're just going to have a little walk around the spaceship. Get the robot acquainted to the space. The area, not space itself, but the inside of the ship. We see some more inspiration from Lego parts used for the interior design here. And Keco is sad. I've got to go back and help, his people. His friends are prisoners, right? I must go home. I must. You've got to help me. Meanwhile, back on Robus, Kazak here. Report on your mission immediately. We've searched every planet in the galaxy. We found nothing. Keko's either on a spaceship or he's a heap of scrap iron. We'll find out. Attention. Lab reporting. We've tested the transformat. It functions with objects, but not with people. Blast! But look at this experiment with a robot. Oh, just that was a living robot. Now it's all just a bunch of pieces. Amazing. That'll surprise those no-good robots unless we can smash them. But one of those robots was listening in a tree. A yellow one this time. Oh, so they've got the same thing going on that humans do with the different primary colors used for them. Quick, Zeppo, warn the others. Okay, so it is known that a major attack is coming with this Transformat new weapon. Major attack is coming to further subdue the citizens of Robus, who are these robots, right? Look, Keco, the scout ships. If we can get hold of one, we can fly you home. I just hope we can get away safely. Hey, what are you doing here? Hey. The classic hey. Show your pass, man. Oh, good idea. Pass. I was told to show this robot around, sir. Okay. Don't meddle with my machines. I wouldn't dream of it. Not a chance. Pretty small spaceships here. Computer wants a start code. I'm used to dealing with this sort of thing. What are you doing? Really bugging it, but how? Easy. When you come from Robus, robots can always outwit terminals. Look, Keco, the door's opening. Oh, wow. And off they go. So they're going to go try to rescue all the remaining robots back on Robus, completely free it. However, they didn't realize that Duncan was on board already. Duncan, what are you doing here? Just what's going on? I was working on the ship and suddenly it took off. Well, Keco got homesick, so did you get permission? Jim, did you? Not exactly. This is a serious matter. Let's get Keco home pronto. We'll see what Bart says when we get back. Off we go. Meanwhile, in the jungle, message from the leader. So the message gets back to Rebel home base. So this is Robius. So this is not the planet that they crash landed on in the first place. This is where Keco, the robot, came from. And he told the story of how Kazak took over his planet as well. The sweet smell of ripe fruit. Would you like to try one before you go home? I had no idea robots liked fruit. We recharge our batteries with it. Clever. The acid generates electricity. Oh no, disaster. A giant ripe fruit lands on the spaceship. And once again, we have adventurers, accidental heroes, who are stranded on an alien planet. What in blazes do we do now? How do we get back to Spearhead without our ship? This is an interesting technic contraption coming in here. About more than 2/3 of the way through, so we're getting towards the end. We need to have some real stuff happening. Well, this is some real stuff right here. Oh, cripes. Now we're in for it. Hi, Elsie. Keco. It's you. We thought that was Kazak's men traveling through the jungle. Who on earth are you? Jim, Spaceborn, and Duncan. They've come from Zonia to help us fight Kazak. So this is an interesting little old Technic before Technic build. Looks actually pretty cool. I like that. Good for them. We need all the help we can get. Our spies have told us that Kazaks developed a secret weapon called a Transformat. A Transformat? What do you know about it? Sounds like my invention, but how in the universe did it get here? If it really is my Transformat, there's no time to waste. Let's get back to base. Okay, meanwhile, elsewhere on Robius, in the Kazak base, we're ready. We've cracked the Transformat. It's in mass production now. We're supplying it to everyone. All of his troops are going to get their own Transformats. Splendid! More proof of my brilliant leadership. Today, Robus. Tomorrow, the whole galaxy. Assemble all personnel. Stand by to receive your orders. Attention. Urgent report from M40. We've located an alien ship. Keep a watch on it, M40. All other units, return to base. to prepare for the attack, of course. Alert! Unidentified spacecraft on port side! Action stations! Bart, alien spacecraft approaching! Okay, the captain gets just called by his first name. That's actually cool, keeping things a little bit grounded here. Where does it come from? What if it's hostile? What should we do, Vita? Get a hold of Duncan. Great! Perhaps he can identify the spacecraft. Probably. I'll just check the force field in case we need it. Why in blazes doesn't Duncan answer? Why indeed. Meanwhile, on Robus, what are you saying, Duncan? Getting a surprise. Oh, what are you doing, Duncan? Getting a surprise ready for Kazak when he uses the transformat. What exactly is it? Quiet, I'm working. Meanwhile, present transformats. So he's got a whole army now of little Kazak troopers, each with instead of a gun, a transformat, a little 1x1 brick with a open or possibly hollow stud on it. And he's got his own personal little pod, little transport pod. Have they all received basic transformation training? Yes, Lord Kazak. Good. Here's the map reference for the suspected rebel hideout. Up and away, folks. Okay. Meanwhile, Eureka! Come on, Kazak, we're waiting. It looks like he has created. Is this the underside of a 2x4 brick, or is it a Technic plate? Which is it? Looks like it's the underside of a 2x4 brick. Keco, assemble all the robots. Quick, everyone outside. Duncan's up to something. What's going on? Duncan's got a trick up his sleeve. Who's Duncan? Keco met him when he escaped from Kazak. Who's Kazak? Shh. All right, here they are. Friends, gather around and listen. We've all heard about Kazak and his transformat. But you don't need to be afraid. With my new gadget. Who's Kazak? Soon, you'll all have one, and you install it like this. Now, the transformat rays won't harm you. You can help yourself to one as soon as Keco has made them. So Keco is using a transformat to replicate these anti-transformat ray inserts that are all going to be installed into the bodies of the existing rebels and survivors, free survivors and oppressed survivors on planet Robus. But Duncan, is it enough to beat Kazak's nasties? Listen, Jim, this device has got a surprise that won't please Kazak if it works. Red alert! Help! Already! G9, rebel base in sight, attacking stations. Will the scooter lead the attack, G9? Are you out of your mind, idiot? Someone's got to keep an eye on backup operations, right? Looks like backup's more important than the front line. All right, so they have the big face-off. It is close quarters, direct combat. They're shooting, they're firing. What's happening? But what? We don't know yet. A little later in Kazak's tower. Any news of the alien spaceship? Yes, M40 has it under observation. Excellent. I don't like that spaceship. It's shadowing us. Where in blazes is Duncan? He may be absent-minded, but he must have realized that Spearhead is on red alert. Back on Robus. Sentry duty is boring, man. Maybe you'd rather be out there catching robots, huh? What about the danger? Danger? Bah! We've got the transformat now. Get them! Help! What's happened to our men? No! No idea, but it's curtains for the robots. Out with the transformat. There it is, spare parts. Here you come. Zzz, 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 zzz. Help. The rays are coming back at us. Oh, it's them. Help. The rays are coming back at us. Ah! It's just bouncing right off of them. Meanwhile, at Kazak's headquarters, preparation for total domination, victory everywhere, and now I feel ready to conquer the rest of the galaxy. Wait, who dares interrupt Kazak? Huh? My brave men! They've all been very neatly rounded up into tiny little one-man or one-piece Danish bubbles, and they're just floating around. Boing, 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 boing. Is it a force field? What is it? That's great! The anti-transformat traps Kazak's men in Danish bubbles. Keco, what about Kazak's troops? I've been saddled with them ever since we left the jungle. Oh, them. Yeah, just dump them. We must go and help the others. Follow me. Doors open, man. Doors open, man. So they storm the castle. They storm the main base, Kazak's personal base on Robus. For some reason, he's set up shop on Robus as his main headquarters. They make their way through, bouncing all the transformat rays back, making a lot more Danish bubbles, but Kazak, of course, has gotten away. Of course. Meanwhile, outside Spearhead, M40 returned to base. There's trouble on Robus, and Kazak has vanished. Come back immediately. Bart, he's turning back. What? So he is. Good riddance, I say. Hooray! Emergency alert terminated. We can be on our way. Hello, Jim Spaceborn calling Spearhead. What? Jim, where? We've liberated the planet Robus, but our ships are right off. Come fetch us. Look, someone's escaped. Who could that be? Kazak, of course. You'll never catch him. Wait, what? Oh, this is not Kazak himself. I'm like, what? How is Kazak there? I thought he was. Yeah, Kazak is on the ship, and this is one of his agents, one of his little sidekicks who's still stuck in a little bubble, who was protecting him, like one of his bodyguards in this case. Kazak, of course, now you'll never catch him because he's getting away in his ship, his personal escape ship. Just you wait and see. At least you've got your cronies. Duncan says, the bubbles last a robust day. No, at least we've got your cronies, sorry. All right, Spearhead comes down to the newly liberated Robus. Cue end of Return of the Jedi. You pick which version you want. Music going in the background. I prefer the Yub Nub, of course. There you are. Where in the universe? Hello, Bart. So we beat them, huh? Now Keco and his friends can live in freedom. There you go. What about Kazak? Unfortunately, he escaped with the last transformat, but we've sent his men packing, throwing a party to celebrate the end of Kazak. Of course, you'll be our guests of honor. Let's see, they offer him up some food, which is made for robots and not for humans, but they eat it anyway. Ouch, my stomach. What's this? Have you got a transformat? Yeah, they don't need it on Robus. They might do something stupid. Whoa! Is Keco feeling better? A little. It's a bit of a puzzle. Keco got put back together just a little bit wrong. We've got plenty to do on our way back to Zonia. Haha. And that's the end. So they have won. They need to fix up Keco, but they know their way back. And this is what the actual ship looked like. This was built based on the drawings. The drawings came first, and then they built this. How many bricks did we use? Spearhead is a huge spaceship with room for 300 people. We drew it from a real model. 117 centimeters long, 56 centimeters wide. Took our model designer 196 hours to build a 5,462 piece set. Jeez, that's a lot of work. Wow. 1986, peak model building. And they show you how to make some little bots as well. So you can do your own with far less than 5,462 pieces. Of course, remember, this was from a time when sets had 15, 20, 100 pieces was a lot. This was not from a time when you could just go to a store and buy a 9,090 piece set and just walk out with it. So it was a very, very different time, very different feeling. This shows you a little bit of how little activity to make a little paper mache style bit of custom terrain. Oh, that piece right there, that old shield piece, trans red. Nice. There you go. Copyright 1986. And this is the back. Completely new kind of comic book. The play starts where the story ends. Fantastic. But I've got more to show you. Introducing Keco in the plastic. This is the official build for the Keco Robot. As you can see, it is built upside down in order to get the tiles for the feet there. And this was also sent in by Arno. Thank you again, Arno, for everything that you've done here. And it's all with the classic, old gray color. You see a tile used on the back, and there's also a 1x1 tile used in between the legs. Obviously, you can see the studs are arranged properly, so this is a pre-transformat incident version, and this can be posed in a handful of different ways. There are, some things that you can do just naturally with the orientation of the pieces. You can make the hands go up and down. You can kind of turn the head, turn the feet in and out. It's not the most durable thing or anything, but there are a lot of things you can do with it for something built with 1986 pieces. However, you can also kind of get some bends into the legs because you have all these stud pieces, so you can kind of get a little bit of flex in there, start to make it look like he's getting into a walking pose. Just for if you want to use some illegal building techniques, because why not? Why not? It's all for fun. And then finally, this here is Arno. So this is the official sig fig version of Arno, who's going to go into New Jang City and live there permanently. It's an M-Tron version of Jim Spaceborn, which is absolutely perfect. Arno, big fan of M-Tron, and mix it with the Jim Spaceborn look with just classic smiley face, and then the blue cap, blue baseball style cap, and there you go. So again, big thanks to Arno. This has been eye-opening for me. I truly had no idea that anything like this existed. Had I known about this series when I was a kid, gosh, without question, it would still be very, very strong in my memory and would have very strongly influenced my life, really. Because, stuff that hits you that hard, that gets right down deep into your imagination when you're a kid, shapes how you think, shapes what you want out of life. It really changes so much. Like for me, it was the Lego idea book number, was it number 1 or number 2? I think it was number 2, if I'm not mistaken. And I've shown that previously, that just stuck with me and influenced my interest in eventually coming back to Lego as a hobby as an adult, and had I been through something like this where it's really space focused and sci-fi focused, and with all the illustrations and all the models that are in there, I probably would not have a New Jang City. I would just have a robot today. I would have like a space robots versus Blacktron alien planet. I am certain that this would have hit me that hard and embedded that deeply into my persona itself, my very soul. It's that strong, and it's that well developed for kids in particular, Such good stuff. Again, thank you to Arno. Thank you to everybody for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Check out the book if you can find a copy. Look for other ones by Frank Madsen. That's Madsen. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.